Here comes the motherfucking nigga. Check, G, pimp type in your motherfucking hood. Like that should be understood. We ain't stopping, nigga, nah, we ain't falling, we ain't quit. When you see me wanna stop, nigga, we all bullshitting in this motherfucker. With a sucker rusher, put the things on it, make him see some stars. Then rain on it, keep your aim on it. It ain't all about the hen and the hay. You see me in the streets, I bet you think I wanna play. Look here, I ain't got time. Look at me close, but through all the bullshit, seeing me blind, I got a purpose in this motherfucker. I'm in the show, if I can make it, you can make it in this motherfucker. Ain't no other brother gonna do it for you. He might help, but when it all boils down, still in it for yourself, you got a family. I got a family, and goddamn it, be time to let that real ass man in me take a stand for me. I tight, it ain't shit finna fuck up my plan. Might seem way out of reach, but fuck thing to touch better shit. You, and all the sneaky shit that your ass trying to do. You been peeping on my pimpin', looking for a downfall. And I ain't gon' even hang around y'all. I found y'all niggas to be false and fake assholes for the thing. What they do? They gon' give it up. Put your hand in my shit, I breaks it off. Ball, yeah. MJG, we gon' get straight out the mind of a nigga who done seen the light up all night, trying to figure out why shit ain't right. Uptight, ecstasy done got the best of me, got me gritting my teeth and I can't go to sleep. Feel the beat, bump, bump, beating up a nigga back, bout to bust out the trunk. We crunk, we dumb. If a nigga won't funk, but I don't really think the motherfuckers want none. Pimp nigga, South nigga, running his mouth nigga, pull out a map and choose another route nigga. Prisoner of war and I can't get out nigga. Mask face, drop it off like it's a drought nigga. Swab house nigga, big ball and MJ. Space age pimpin', doing it the play away. Underground, independent, making mo dough. Hustling cause no dough is a no-no. Fuck hoes, let me hold something I can fold. Thinking you fly when that shit you poppin' is old. Cold-blooded like Rick with this rap shit. And if a nigga wanna scrap shit, I don't give a fuck. You, and all the sneaky shit that your ass trying to do. You been peeping on my pimpin', looking for a downfall. And I ain't gon' even hang around y'all. I found y'all niggas to be false and fake assholes for the fame. What they do? They gon' give it up. Put your hand in my shit, I breaks it off. Ball, yeah. MJG, we don't give a fuck. I got that pimp shit you wanna roll with. Stay in control, stay on your toes with. Never fold with, behold with. Back on the hose with. Eat lunch, change clothes, been rolling on bowling to the side, fold doors with plenty of tent. I got my windows black in. Soon as you ride clean, you let them haters back in. Bitches be acting like soap opera. Fuck you hoes, go and see you a dope doctor. Shit that you tryin', baby, I'm already done with it. You be the filth, I be the motherfucking one with it. I got my nuts and my guts and my heart in it. Give me a crack and see if I don't put a part in it. From the start in it, we had hard in it to win it. 30 birdies, straight love like tennis. Rhyme minutes, finish all point shavers. Bump and grind until we make our shit major. Until then, you can hit me on the pager. 1-800 Big Ball Hip Hop Savior. Remember that, and we gon' keep it on the cool. Smoking act a fool and take rookies to school. Veteran MC, purple ribbon pedigree. Tennessee MC, Mr. B.I.G. and MJG. Hard from the fucking start, hard from the fucking start. Cause we don't give a fuck. You, and all the sneaky shit that your ass trying to do. You been peeping on my pimpin', looking for a downfall. And I ain't gon' even hang around y'all. I found y'all niggas to be false and fake assholes for the fame. What they do? They gon' give it up. Put your hand in my shit, I breaks it off. Ball, yeah. MJG, we don't give a fuck. Crossing the sands of Babylon. Point shavers set traps and ambushes. Space age hoes use hypnotic touches and aromas. Extraterrestrial bitches putting tricks in comas. 120 miles per hour, smoking orange juice, sniffing information, loving life. Bitch, I don't give a fuck.
Salute, and welcome back to the Black Ocean. Now, so I'm getting deep in with your host, the one and only Great Black Shark. And tonight we're going to pick up with part 2, okay, of the broadcast here. We're going to be examining these Trojan horse tether tactics, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are. Before we get underway, give me a black fist and a thumbs up if you can hear me loud and clear in the chat room. I want to make sure all the audio is coming through clear before we get underway here, because continue this analysis. And as you know, with the first part of this, they couldn't take the heat, man. They're like, oh boy, he cooking us too much. A lot of people have covered this from pillar to post with no interruptions. But when I get to cooking, oh, it's a problem. It's still gonna have to be a problem though, because we're not done. We're gonna definitely go all the way through this. We have one more part of it coming up here in like a day or so. All right, because I broke it down into 3 parts, but we're gonna get part 2 underway tonight. All right, so give me a black fist thumbs up in the chat room if everybody can hear me loud and confirmation of that. Not get everything taken care of, just audio not coming through clearly, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I will wait for confirmation in the chat room. And by the way, welcome to all the new subscribers over here. And for those that don't know, yes, I actually do look at my chat room. This is one of those channels where people don't acknowledge people in the chat. We do that often over here every broadcast fact of business. Okay, so looking in the chat room, making sure that everybody can hear me okay. All right, I see one fist. I need some more fists. I want to make sure everybody can hear. Okay, make sure. All right, let me pull this up so I can see everything. Getting on black fist or thumbs up. I want to see everybody in the chat room can hear me okay. If not, okay, I don't want any problems when I get to cooking here, because we're finna go ahead and flame them up tonight. All right. Down here, I'm seeing a couple. All right. Everybody can hear me? Okay, there we go. All right, I'm seeing some confirmation now. All right. I guess some folks don't know how to follow instructions, man. Hey, let me address that real quick, too, before we get underway with the other announcements. Welcome to the new subscribers. We sitting at over 12,800 and something strong here on the road to 13,000. If you are a person that is looking for Black empowerment, if you're foundational Black American freedmen or on code none, LB brothers and sisters, welcome. But if you're the type of person that doesn't like any of that, oh my, have you ever zigged and zagged and found yourself on the wrong end of the YouTube streets, and you can politely get the fuck on out from over here. You are a white ass kisser. I don't care what your lineage is. You are not welcome here. You're a person there. I don't like the intro. Get the fuck on. Don't come back. Okay, this one of these kind of challenges. Just letting y'all know where you at. Another thing too, I noticed, and these gotta be some of the goofy white supremacist trolls. They don't last long over here. They'll start the deal, they looking for attention over here. But one of them came over to like a couple of my shorts talking about, I don't like the music in the background. Did you check that out? Let me tell you, jackass, something. The minute that you come over and leave a comment like that, I send your ass to the block party. Oh, we throw parties over here. Block party. Ain't gonna be no back and forth arguing with you. I get that you probably used to that on certain other platforms. Y'all better tell them this ain't one of them. Oh no, we feed no trolls over here. Your ass will be starving with your ribs showing if you're looking for attention over here. I'm just letting you know, okay? So it's just, I want you to understand where you at. Now, further announcement before we get underway. We had our space on X, if you follow me over there, with the good brother Cool Colas. Okay, very good brother there. A lot of good content on his channel. He's an author. He's got a lot of good stuff coming up for the community that, you know, is going to represent us properly in media. So I want to make sure that everybody's familiar with that brother's content, Black Truth United, many others. Me and that brother are going to do a part 2 to that space, by the way. But let me take the time to mention something about how I run my X space before we get underway. Those of you that are my long-time listeners, subscribers, you already know this, but let me say this to all the new people, okay? If you come on my X space, we run an ordered house over there, okay? So, and the purpose of that interview there, because that's what that was, I was having an interview with that brother, and I was letting people up to give their thoughts on it. Fact of business, this is some advice I'm going to give people that'll go a long way with you on anybody's platform that you on, okay? First and foremost, whenever the host of any platform is talking, you don't talk over the host, okay? You don't do that. Let me translate it, okay? That's the polite way. When the host is talking, shut the fuck up, okay? That's how that works. All right, because I was trying to be respectful of that brother's time. Brother Cool Colors is a family man, all right? So, hey, I was told the brother, hey, I keep you for about an hour, and that's what I wanted to honor. Now, when you come up on anybody's platform and they invite you to speak on something, make your point and be precise and concise with it. And keep in mind there's other speakers. Don't get up on somebody's platform when you are not the center of attention and try to take the goddamn platform over. Look, I used to kind of joke about some of the older women doing that bullshit, but I'm seeing some of these dudes do that dumb shit too. Nah, man, don't try it on my platform now. It would be rude if you did it on anybody's platform. But, you got some of these folks, man, that's like, I guess they see somebody with an audience and they looking to try to build their platform. They want to try to do it off of yours. Let me tell you something. I'm the easiest brother in the world to get along with, but just don't disrespect me or my guests on my platform. I'm not having that now. So, this is going to be one of the final times that I give that disclaimer now, because that should be common fucking sense, okay? If you go to somebody's platform and they talking, especially the host, you don't talk over the host. You don't do that, okay? Hey, man, some of y'all need some home training. Look, I'm going to tell you something, though. It's probably my fault because I should have just conducted the interview with the brother and then kind of broke it down to have people come up and ask questions or add to the topic. But from now on, let me make this clear. You follow me on X and I don't recognize your name, don't even bother hitting the request button, because it seemed to be a lot of the new people that, if they come up and I'm like, okay, you're going to have sense enough to speak on the topic, keep your points brief. These motherfuckers want to get up here and filibuster, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, don't play with me like that, all right? I am the last person in the world that's going to let you get that off, okay? We try to have spaces where we're focused on something constructive. It's not a place for you to get up here and center yourself around attention. We got a lot of these attention-seeking bastards out here today, okay? I can't just put it on the women no more, so I owe my ladies an apology. I thought that was an old woman syndrome where, they get to talking and get to rambling, babbling, and can't control themselves and don't understand, hey, there's other people that need to speak, okay? So apologies, ladies. There's some of these Negroes out here too. All right, so y'all better be warned with that. Don't bring that shit to my spaces, man. All right, let's get to rambling and taking away. I mean, I wouldn't even do that to anybody. But I digress. I'm gonna leave it alone, family. Let me scroll in the chat room here and greet those of you that are my esteemed guests. All right, I see up here. Okay, I see. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Osea Wideman, whoever that is. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Most Hated Bronze, I see you. All right. Tanisha Murdoch, Diesel Mike in the building. Only Pamela's Way. Blue Jay 3000, my good brother Lee Holmes in the building. Carla Wilson is in here. B1 Satin Doll. Josh Norris. I see Faray in here. Hot One. Devin Haley, what's going on, sister? I see Dan Miller TV in here. That's everybody that I see so far. So salute and welcome to all of you. Anybody else that'll be joining us tonight. So with that said, let's get started. I hope all of you are doing very well here this weekend. Hope your weekend's going straight, because now we finna finish cooking this coon fest right here, okay? Now, let me give my short disclaimer before we get underway. You the type of person that make, idols of different people, or you the type of person that suffers from parasocial celebrity worship in any case, you're gonna hate this channel, you're gonna hate this broadcast, okay? You're gonna hate all the content over here. I will turn all of your sacred cows to hamburgers when they cooning and buffooning, okay? So we're going to pick up where we left off from the last broadcast here with the second part of this. No stopping this at certain times where need be. So this time we'll be using an overlay, but I will remove it to show certain parts of this interview. So with that said, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen.
Systemic racism isn't a theory. It's our lived reality backed by data and history.
Hello?
Hello, John.
John Samuel.
Hello, John Samuel. First name. All right.
Blame my parents.
Hi, parents.
I want to listen to you first. Why do you feel that? Why do you feel that way?
Oh, John went to debate training before he came here. Okay. Ultimately, I feel that way because it's simply just facts. It's in the books, and that's why there have been laws to challenge it. There have been innumerable instances where actual systems were created specifically for the impediment of Black people to advance. We have also seen innumerable instances where there were things created for Black people to advance, and they were taken back under the auspices of, we don't want them to advance. Ultimately, systemic racism exists in our institutions on a government level, in our institutions, whether it's prisons or schools, and it is undeniable because they are actively trying to reinstate it right now.
Can you give me an example of one of those systems that you believe perpetuates that cycle of racism? Redlining? Okay.
Yes.
And how does that, like, can you elaborate? Like, how is that affecting the Black community?
Do you know what redlining is?
I know a little bit. I'm not an expert.
Redlining was a system that was created to determine property values, and that said Black people can only live in certain neighborhoods and not in other neighborhoods. And the redlining lowered the property values of those Black neighborhoods by stating that they were more savage, that they were more dangerous, etc. Thus, they were not able to own property that was on a level of par to their white counterparts.
So I want to pause Amanda Seals right here, okay? Now let me show you who she's talking to real quick. That's this jackass. And by the way, this bastard here was teaching at a school and he lost his job. As I said in the last broadcast, couldn't happen to a bigger buck dancing Sambo. So now you see this Negro up here trying to play obtuse, talking about, well, could you give me an example of what some of those systems are? First of all, I like that Amanda Seals brought up redlining. That's very true. But see, and when you're talking to somebody like him, okay, assuming he is a foundational Black American, you would think that if you knew anything about this country's history and Jim Crow and everything that has gone down the line as far as how we're treated differently in the courts of law, okay, as far as how our businesses are sabotaged more than any other group over here in America. Look at the Turkey Leg Hut, Redstone Firearms, many others I could keep on naming, okay? And then when it comes right down to recent things that are life and death, look at what Daniel Penny was allowed to get away with when he choked our brother Jordan Neely like a coward from behind and killed him, okay, and got off of that. Then you saw Kyle Rittenhouse that had evidence of him on video talking about who he wanted to shoot regarding Black protesters. Oh, they let him off the hook. And on not only that, to go to show you that it's racially motivated, look at the Austin Metcalf situation there, where our good brother, Camilo Anthony, defended himself as he should, because these white supremacists think they're supposed to put their hands on us with impunity. When you look at that across the board, I'm going to tell you the main thing that lets you know that there's still systematic racism and anti-Black racism in this country, all right? White supremacy. Look how fast they papered these people up. They damn near turned these people into millionaires overnight. Look at Shiloh Hendricks, okay? And she just got them little old weak-ass charges, but they turned this woman, you know what I'm saying, to millionaire overnight for practicing anti-Black racism. We see how they was crying about Cracker Barrel, right? Changing the logo on that. Don't take Uncle Herschel off of there. You know, that's the name of the little man in the rocking chair, in case y'all don't know. Okay? Crying about any and everything that, you know, if they see that their anti-Black racist culture is being erased, they start crying about it. So these big buck dancing Sambos like him, you know what I'm saying? They'll sit up here and pretend as if they don't know anything about that. Let me say something about that before we let this continue, because I want y'all to see who she's talking to real quick. If you have to downplay who you are as a person and what your experience is, and I'm talking to people outside of Black folks, okay? Anytime you have to do that just to fit in, how you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, you should be ashamed of yourself if that's what you have to do to fit into anybody's organization or, you know, any type of club or whatever you try to be in, political party, etc. If you got to downplay who you are and pretend as if a part of your history that is very well documented doesn't exist, man, you ain't worth two dead flies put together. So I just wanted you to take a look at this sorry Sambo right here that she's talking to. So she's going to bring up a couple other points. Like I said, I'm going to let her talk for a minute, and then we're going to get back to breaking this thing down. Because hold on to y'all hands. A lot of y'all should have seen all of this by now. But if you haven't, trust me, we're going to go over it from pillar to post here tonight. Let's let it continue.
are also many efforts at just simply not allowing Black people to get loans for property, putting them in predatory scenarios where they were being essentially unable to own land. And that inability to own land, but still having to pay out a mortgage, if you will, or a rent, continue to put Black people in a conundrum of not being able to excel at the same economic rate as their white counterparts.
What I'm hearing from you, if I'm hearing correctly, is it feels like in the United States that for a while we've kind of established these systems at their foundation, and they've continued on, and they've continually just oppressed Black people, and we haven't dismantled them, and we haven't done much so they continue to complete the cycle. Is that what I'm hearing correctly?
Well, in many of these systems, they have been dismantled maybe in name, but because this country has never dismantled the culture of racism, they end up still living in practice. So we see that, for instance, in the way that the appraisal system works. Now, we saw there was an entire documentary on how appraisals have been also very racist, home appraisals, right? So your ability to sell your house for the value that it deserves.
Right.
There were a number of homes, particularly in Marin County, California, where Black people had one appraisal when they had their Blackness up. So they had their dashikis hanging, and they had their, they had their Black Good Times poster. But then when they removed all those items and put up white people and a dog in the house, and then had their white friends come and pose as the owners of the home, the appraisal was significantly higher. And we have seen that in a number of instances. Now, of course, that is just Marin County, but there are a number of other scenarios where this has been relayed. And that's why there were certain efforts by the Democratic Party to state, okay, well, we're going to try and step in for this.
I actually...
Now, let me pause this right here because, see, I wish Amanda Seals would have took it on back to, even our Black soldiers and veterans. At one point in time in this country, they were not allowed to get the Montgomery GI Bill, okay? I wish you would have took it on back to things like that. And the good sister, Only Pamela's way down here, she says, trying to figure out how are they over here talking about something that has absolutely nothing to do with them. Seriously, they should be too ashamed to say anything. Well, sister, I'm going to tell you how they're able to do it. In order to have shame, you have to have honor first, okay? You have no honor, then you have no shame. See, you know what I've said for me a long period of time here, okay, for the longest. I've always said that any of the Tether class men that flee over here should really not open their mouth to speak about anything, because it's one thing for the women and the children of a nation to flee. It's not their job to build and defend a nation like that. But it's the job of the men of any demographic in any society anywhere in the world. It's the job of the men to build and protect. When you're fleeing in droves to the point where it's damn near more you running away than the women and the children, that says a lot about what you're not as a man regarding a traditional protector, provider, and a builder. So when you come to our country, foundational Black American freedmen, where we hadn't ran and stand 10 toes down and fight this beast, even though we're outnumbered in this system, how you going to really talk trash to the people like that? See, this is why we say to tell the class, because we make intelligent distinction over here between the on-code brothers and sisters that are non-FBA. Don't have a problem in the world, which as long as you're not one of these disrespectful tellers like a Myron Gaines or Candace Owens, etc. And this Sambo up here talking. So, you know what I'm saying? They don't have any honor or shame. They look at running away as if they did something intelligent. That's what they look at. Never mind going back home and trying to build and set something up for the birthright of the next generation so that the land that they were born on is somewhere that they can call actual home and leave when they choose to and come back. See, that's the difference between us and them. If we leave and go vacation somewhere, we leave by choice and then come back to our homeland. Tether class knows nothing about that. So y'all know me. I don't even consider them grown men on the same level. I consider them children sitting at the adults' table eating off grown folks' plate because they don't contribute anything to this country. I mean, let's be honest. I'm going here with it tonight. What the fuck do they really contribute to this country? You run over here and you get a basic job because they're willing to get cheap labor and underpay your stupid ass. And then you take what chump change you get and you send it back out the country in remittances. How's that helping our country? It doesn't at all. We benefit from them being here in no way, shape, form, or fashion. They're too cowardly to oppose white supremacy. Okay. Then you come here and try to actively undermine us to get white approval. Let's just call that what it is. And that's a big problem when they start getting into politics and getting into the education fields and getting into the medical fields. Okay. Then on top of that, when something happens to them and them folks show you what you really are not, and they show you what you are, which is a pet, you come running to the same people that you disrespected, foundational Black American freedmen. So it's a brand new Black First Day over here. We checking all of this stuff at the door. So I'm going to let this continue, and we're going to further break this down. Let's get back to it.
Remember that case, and I watched it with the family, and I thought that was just really just terrible. But the problem I guess I have with systemic racism is, I guess for somebody like me, where my family comes from, the Deep South, you probably don't even know it, Aliceville, Alabama. Okay. That's where my grandparents are from. And my grandpa came, if you saw the house that he grew up in, I'm not trying to be funny, it looked like a slave house. It was just, they grew up in poverty. And the fact that he was able to go from that and get the highest rank enlisted in the United States Navy amidst, all these, systems, so to speak, and he was able to buy his own house out in San Diego. He was able to, pass on these things to his son, my dad, and his grandchildren. Now I'm able to get an education. I was able to get my undergrad, my master's, that, the great-great-grandson of enslaved peoples can now say that, educated and can even run for Congress. I don't see how these systems are still in place as they were before, because before I would say you do have a little bit of a foothold. You do have some validity there. But I just think these days when we call it systemic racism, really what we're calling it is those people who may still be in those institutions, those individual people who may actually be racist and hold some racist ideals, who are continuing to perpetuate this. I believe it's those people. So in all reality, the problem is not the systemic racism. The problem is us. The problem starts with.
Let me pause this buck dancing Sambo right here. Okay, let's challenge what he's talking about. Because basically his argument, he's trying to say, okay, due to his one little anecdotal experience, that's supposed to represent the whole of Black society, assuming he's telling the truth. Okay, so now he mentions this. Here's the problem. I'm going to make this short and sweet. If what he was saying was accurate and basically he's trying to say ain't no racism, well, then why isn't everything divided equally here amongst foundational Black Americans and our businesses not being sabotaged like other groups? Why is it that they're gerrymandering to try to strip Black people of their voting power? Why is it that we're able to see what happened to our sister Breonna Taylor and brother George Floyd there? Well, look at what happened to Jordan Neely, like I said, at the hands of Daniel Penny. We wouldn't be seeing any of this stuff, you know what I'm saying, where Black people have to go out here and turn up just to get you to do the right thing. You see what I'm saying? See, these people, man, the shameful thing about this, they know everything I'm saying because as a Black person, they know this affects them. But see, they think they found it. They think they're the smart Negroes. They think that if I just act like I don't see any of this stuff, I'm going to be the same pet that the white people take care of. No, it doesn't actually work like that. It never works that way. Look at all these Sambos over here that's getting their wake-up call. From the Jason Whitlocks, Nick Fuentes, you heard him run down the list. Nick Fuentes gave Candace Owens that business, and he's a little want to be in the club himself because he's not completely white in their eyes. He's dirty white Hispanic, okay? Trying to be a white supremacist, always dumping at Black people, but that's not going to get you in the white club, baby. So you got to understand, if you were not born in their eyes 100% Caucasian, hey, you can't get in the white club, baby. Ain't no amount of cooning gonna do it. Ain't no amount of acting like you don't see things gonna do it for you. And you being the Black friend, air quotes, that they use to talk anti-Black racism, that's coming to an end. That's coming to an end, because one thing I will say about old Nick Fuentes, he's right. He's not the only one that feels that way. They don't want to have to use a mouthpiece to say what they have to say. They want to be able to say it. Trust me, Nick Fuentes represents a lot of the white supremacist ideology, okay? There's a lot more of their mouthpieces that feel the exact same way. Now, all of them might not have the balls to come out and say it. Now, I'll give him his respect for that. I like that type of white supremacist. Come on out and let us know exactly where you stand, okay? It's the cowards that you have to worry about, like in the Democrat Party that try to hide, okay? The Republican white supremacists, they out loud and proud with it. You see what they are. I can respect it. Now I know how to deal with you. Democrats, y'all see on my community tab, a lot of people were laughing at that, the description of them, the two parties there, but that's about how it is. Democrats want to put a fake little stuffed unicorn on top of their head when both of them are snakes, okay? Just being honest, snake, if you're going to be one. But see, with this soundboard right here, I want you to see where he's about to go, because one of the things about a coon, they always try to turn the problems that white supremacy causes. They try to blame us like, oh, it's our fault, okay? We got to look at us. It's our fault what we did. I want y'all to hear where he's about to go, man. Brace yourself.
With those people who are perpetuating these, racist ideals. And so I feel like just to attack these systems is just, it's nonsensical.
Who's running the systems?
Like which system? You're talking about
whether
Congress,
it's the prison
government?
whether it's the prison industrial complex. We're seeing this now with immigration and ICE. We're seeing this also with the effort at not making schools available for equal level of schooling available with the voucher systems that are now allowing tax dollars to allow people to go to segregated schools.
Right.
Who is controlling those systems? So for instance, in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
So in Tennessee, you have a Senate and a House of Representatives that is largely controlled by white Republicans, and that have actively said, we are not going to consider what the people want in our constituencies. We are going to simply just do what we want to do, to the point where they have removed.
So it's only in those states that have largely white legislators or largely white people are controlling these systems. I'm not trying to put
All right,
words in your
guys,
mouth.
I'm so sorry. You have been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Thank you.
Salute to the Good Brother Project Leroy for the cash out. Thank you very much, my good man. So now you heard what Amanda Seals was telling him, and see, this is the thing, all right? And this is why we can't have people like her representing us, even though everybody's like, oh, she did it. She cooked them. I'm like, yeah, she did shoot down a lot of their bullshit, but get straight to the point with it. Don't try to go and tit for tat and trying to show people how intellectual you are. Just make it plain. Ask them specifically, what date did white supremacy end in this country? What date did it end? Show us. Why is it that anytime something happens to a black person, where's the groundswell of white society that says, hey, wait a minute, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's get all the facts before we jump to conclusions. No, if you black and something happened between you and a white person, black person automatically guilty. Look at the situation with Roger Jackson, okay? They just look to let the white supremacists tell it. If there was no footage of that dude hitting that man upside the head with that damn beer can, they would try to act like, oh, he just savagely attacked them for no reason. No. Unless that was a part of the script and you didn't discuss that with that man, you had no right to hit him upside the head with a beer can. But see, it goes back to something many of us have been telling you all for years. White supremacists actually think we are never supposed to defend ourselves. Whatever they do to us, we just supposed to accept it and take it, okay? So see, Amanda and a lot of people like her, even though they may be fairly intelligent, let me tell you something I want all of you to be aware of, okay? Because again, intelligence is an asset, but don't get bogged down into analysis paralysis to the point where instead of you going straight to the facts and making it plain where everybody can understand it and shutting these bastards down, you get started playing intellectual ping pong back and forth with them, and they will keep revolving around all types of straw man arguments. Because see, you know what? I was going to show you all those Karl Rove troll tactics, that are the conservative strategist Karl Rove that came up with. I'm going to break that down in a separate broadcast, okay? I'm going to break that down in a separate broadcast because I want all of y'all to be familiar with those tactics, okay? So see, sometimes an intelligent person's weakness is getting into a back and forth debate that's pointless instead of shutting that shit down with the quickness and saying, listen, let's just get straight to brass tacks. You claim that there is no more racism in this country? Okay. All of them have acknowledged that slavery was America's original sin, air quotes. Cool. Well, if there's no racism in this country, then why are all these white supremacists, I'm calling them what they are, why are all these white supremacists opposed to paying reparations? Huh? See, it's not hard. You just have to make it plain. But see, you have too many of them that they get stuck on trying to argue pointless things. Because think about it. This is something I want y'all to pay attention to. You might have never thought about this. When it comes to a lot of people that are academically inclined, very articulate, have a vast vocabulary, that's one way, and I'll share this with you all. You can actually defeat so-called intelligent people very easily if you just keep a slew of topics going, moving the goalposts. Because here's the thing. Let me show you how you can get them with that. Because I want y'all to be very careful about this tactic when somebody's trying to engage you in conversation. One, a skillful troll is able to do what I just said without them even recognizing that they moved the goalpost, because they get so bogged down on trying to intellectually one-up somebody instead of realizing this person is playing with my intelligence. They're not doing anything but wasting my damn time. You understand? See, I get it. A lot of people just think intelligence is something that, okay, if you're an intelligent person, there's no weakness. No. The ego is the weakness of an intelligent person a lot of times. See, I've always taught you all over here for years. Y'all know where I'm going with this. Time is the most precious, non-renewable asset that any human being has. You can get back a number of things, but you can't get back wasted time, okay? So I want you to be aware of that, even you in my chat room over here, because there's some intelligent brothers and sisters here, LBA and LBA alike. Be careful about getting into pointless arguments and debates, because y'all know me. I tell y'all, I'm not going to debate somebody about something that's a known fact that I already know. We're moving past debate. We're replacing debate with another D word, declaration. When you make a declaration about something, it's not up for discussion. This is what we've decided, and this is what we're going to do. But again, I'm glad that they had this discourse here, because, see, a lot of people probably thought that when we use terms like Sambo and coon and et cetera, they probably thought, oh, that's just the old folks saying that. No, this is a great example of how many of them are not old coons. Oh, no. Take a good look at this circle here. These are young Sambozos and Sambets up here. And most of them are from immigrant backgrounds. And these are the ones that we call tilters. Let it continue.
Oh, Lord.
So to go back to your claim, you basically said something about Tennessee and how they said what exactly. You said they are not in favor of what their people said, or?
Yeah, Tennessee has actively said, we're not really listening to our constituency. We're not even going to allow them in the gallery when we're voting on certain issues. So for instance, like when it comes to like guns in the classroom, like the constituency very largely said, we do not want guns in the classroom. And they were like, well, we don't care. We're going to do it anyway. We've also seen them actively silence members of the House of Representatives who are Black and not silence someone who is doing the exact same action who is a white woman, Gloria. Shout out to the Justins.
You are right, actually, on this aspect. I did actually remember a time where 2 Black Democrats, I believe, were actually not allowed to speak. And that was interesting. And I found that really insane, considering they're representatives of the state.
Yeah.
So no, I totally can get where you're coming from, but I don't think that's
Now let me stop this guy right here, okay? Now see, family, this is actually very sad when a Black person in this country, especially of our lineage, doesn't understand the system of racism and white supremacy. To quote the late great ancestor Neely Fuller Jr., you don't understand racism and white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. They keep, and when I say they, I'm talking about the coons and the Sambos, no matter what their lineage is. The coon class thinks that, okay, if I get this degree from this school, if I join Democrats, Republicans, if I live in this neighborhood, if I marry this white person, hey, they keep thinking if I can get this particular job title, they keep thinking, okay, you won't treat me like you will the rest of the Black folks. That's the surprising thing, because he's talking about, I was shocked when that happened. Only a fool that sits here and denies history and how it correlates to present day will even say something like that. See, I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. I like when they do things like this, because I like to see just how many liabilities we have running around here wearing the melanated uniform, okay? I like to know that, because, see, in these critical times here, I'm going to tell y'all something. You hear a lot of people, even in 2025, asking, well, hey, if somebody's off code, how do I get them off code, on code? You don't. Not no grown person, not at this point. Now, you have a little more patience for the younger children, all right, teenagers, okay? You have a little more patience for them, but man, by the time they get grown like these people up here, you talk, well, how do I get them on code? No, you don't. We don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. I'm telling y'all right now, we are not in times where you have time to waste. It's not a luxury for you to be trying to drag somebody kicking and streaming to get them on code, because at this point, everybody see what's going on. Everybody sees what the issues of Black America are. Everybody knows what we should be doing to fix these issues. Anybody pretending to the contrary, that's somebody right there that they're afraid and they've surrendered. And they think that, okay, the best way to win is to just be defeated you going to rely on something. Now, this is the part that scared the coons to death. They're not going to like what I'm about to say, but I have to tell the truth. What a coon relies on when they've submitted due to fear, they're relying on something that is insane. They're relying on something that does not exist in white America. The ability for them to spare someone and have mercy. When the hell have they ever shown mercy towards any black folks? Think about it, huh? See, you better go and look at my YouTube short section. I provoke them into showing their anti-black racism. That's right. Hello, white folks. I know you're listening. What are the blacks doing? You learning what the blacks are doing over here. Stick around, kids. You're going to learn a lot. I'm talking to the white supremacists that are hovering in the clouds. They are always listening with their nosy asses. We know you're over here. But see, over in New Black Media Space on the Black Grassroots of Foundational Black American Freedmen America here, all right, we make sure that we let y'all know exactly what it is with no sugarcoating. Most of you that are over here, whether you're on my platform or any others, you're not blind to what's going on. You're not wasting time trying to figure out how to get some off-code moron on code. No, they're going to have to learn the hard way at this point. I'm telling y'all right now, man, I am not willing to waste my time with no damn Sambo. And I definitely don't call them brothers or sisters either. Let's let it continue.
Institutionalized problem where it's a law per se. I think it's more so a personal vendetta in a way.
What's the difference if you are a lawmaker and you're exacting your personal ability, your personal choice through impediment of law change?
So if we're going to go based on systemic racism, it has to be institutionalized, which means it has to be written into law, made public. When it comes to that aspect, that's not necessary.
Oh, no. No. Let me stop this jackass right here. No, sir. No. Systemic racism doesn't have to be written down in verbal law. They practice common law white supremacy here. See, think about it, family. We got all kinds of laws on the books about discrimination, etc. But what do these white supremacists do? They get on code across the board and still do that. Huh? That was a very foolish statement for him to make. But see, let me tell you something. People like him that sit there and play them games trying to get positions in the Republican Party or the Democrat Party, because we got coons on both sides, they get that wake-up call when they find out that, hey, yeah, this is as far as you going. We hired you or brought you in to be a mascot, and that's all you ever going to be. And then they come running around with their head tucked down looking stupid. But like, we tried to tell you this for many years. You've seen plenty of examples of past coons trying to get where you think you're going to go, and none of them have ever gotten there. See, let me go ahead and make this plain for you. Let me go ahead and go straight to brass tacks with this. We saw Barack Obama, okay? Yeah, I'm going here, Barack Obama, as I like to call him. Sure, he became president, but was he a foundational Black American freedman man? Hell no, he was a tether. White mother, king, and father. They knew he had no connection to us, and I'm going to tell you right now, as long as this country is standing, they ain't going to ever have no foundational Black American freedman man or woman as a president. That is not going, look, you're not going to even see them make it to vice president. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it, and I meant that. I'm not living in a damn fantasy land. These people, man, they know better than that. Even the coons, they don't trust you coons. They're like, no, if you of our lineage, they're like, oh, no. No matter how much buck dancing and samboing you've been doing, you still of that particular lineage. They're not going to take that chance. And see, this is why I find it laughable, especially for the conservative coons. You have to ask the question, what do you think you're conserving in America as a Black person? What do you have to conserve? We're talking about as a collective. The people that are at the socioeconomic bottom, what the hell do we have to conserve? See, that means a totally different thing to white America. When they're talking about conserving, they're talking about trying to bring things back to the good old days. Why you think they always talk about make America great again? It was great for them. It's never been great for us. And let's get on the liberals. You calling yourself a liberal in a country where you're really not free? You're not free to go and do whatever a white person do, and you have the audacity to call yourself a liberal? Really? You see, this is why I don't use those terms for myself. I'm not a Democrat, Republican. I'm neither liberal nor conservative. For those of you that are new here that want to know that, there you go right there. Look at the description box of this channel. It's been the same since this channel's been up. This is probably one of the oldest channels you'll find on YouTube for those of you that don't know that. But see, let me tell you something. When it comes to that, what I just said, a lot of these book dancing sambos, they will ignore that. They really think that they're going to find the secret coon formula that's going to get them across the board. They play like they don't see what's going on around them long enough. The white people going to be like, yeah, you're the good one. We're going to let you on in here and treat you like a good little old pet nigger. No, it ain't going to ever happen. It never has happened. It never will. They will use you for what they can use you for. And like I said, that's coming to an end because, look, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you what I like. I like that a lot of them have gotten inspired by the orange tornado that's in office because you're going to see the younger generation now where they keep talking about, oh, racism was a thing of the past. You should just stop talking about it. Nick Fuentes isn't no old man. Richard Spencer isn't an old man, huh? You got a lot of young white supremacists that are showing you like, hey, we're the next generation. We're ready to take the reins and stop playing with you niggers. And I'm glad that they're doing that. Because, see, now gone are the days where they're playing in people's faces and trying to be politically correct. No, come on out. This is why I like that Shiloh Hendricks. I know it sounds funny. I like that Shiloh Hendricks came on out and called that little black child the N-word. Good. We need y'all to see this, okay? See, these are some of the things that I wish Amanda Seals would have brought up when they get that. Because all of them in here are trying to basically look at her like, oh, ain't no racism. You don't know what you're talking about. No. And see, I'm going to tell you something. Before we get back to continuing this, the reason why she can't be a representative besides her not being FBA, she's not a connected to the Foundation of Black American Freedmen grassroots. Because if she was, she would be talking about what happened to Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, what Shiloh Hendricks did to that little black kid. She would be talking about all of these things. Nope. What she's trying to do is spar with them intellectually to the point that it's really pointless. See, don't ever let somebody play with your intelligence to the point that you arguing something with them that you know and they know. No, you control the narrative by putting things in their faces, especially when it comes to the loss of black life that they cannot argue with. You understand, family? I just want y'all to make sure that you never forget that what I just said. Let's let it continue.
Necessarily made public by law. That's made public by choice and actual discrimination by person.
So I can give you an example in Tennessee.
Okay.
So for instance, in Tennessee, we can say that they are put into law that now tax dollars, the public's tax dollars will be supporting voucher systems. The voucher systems for the schools allow parents to choose whatever school they want their child to go to using taxpayer money. And these schools can be private schools. And private schools are not in any way limited from creating systems of segregation. And this is actually how segregated schools was carried out previous to Brown versus Board of Education. So this is a systemic example. We also can acknowledge that systemic examples come from not always it being written into law. And I think that is a real straw man argument for the way that a lot of colorblind racism is carried out in the United States. And what happens when we do that is we ignore the fact that most of the people making the laws are not going to put their racism on the books.
Oh, that's true. Obviously not going to put on the books. But when it comes to the Civil Rights Acts of 1964, then you also want to talk about the one in 1968. They did actually give more fair housing equality.
That was the goal.
Yeah, that's true.
But you see, that's the thing. It's like...
Let me pause him right here, okay? He's bringing up the Civil Rights Act. See, again, this is where Amanda Seals falls short because I know everybody's like, oh my God, she got them told. She fell short here because the question that a foundational Black American freedman, man or woman, would have asked that young coon right there, hey man, do you know what our people had to go through to get that Civil Rights Act passed? Do you understand what happened after Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in this country? It was called Holy Week, huh? Some people call it Hell Week, yeah? See, these are the things that she should have been drilling him with and saying, hey, this isn't because the white people were so compassionate and they just decide to have mercy on us. No. Folks, when they killed Dr. King, man, people were like, okay, goddammit, that's a bridge too far. This brother was nonviolent and you killed him? Oh, no, it's time to turn up. You better go back and look at what Fannie Lou Hamer said. If we can't have it, you won't have it either. We'll burn this motherfucker to the ground. That's where you, look, see, let me talk to the Tether class. When you come over here talking to my people disrespectfully, you don't understand that's the cloth we cut from. We're not going to sit in no country and let the white supremacists hoard all the resources and then we looking crazy like, well, they said we can't have none of it. We got to go over here and live in the shanty town with no electricity and running water. Like, bullshit. Oh, you gonna break these resources down equally, motherfucker, or else won't nobody have shit. Yeah, we still on that type of time. See, they can come over to your countries where you the majority and just slap a couple of y'all around, and the next thing you know, they running shit and telling you what you can't have and where you can't go in your country. I'll be down. No, sir, no, ma'am. So when you come to our country, you better check the pedigree of the people that you talking to for that Tether class, huh? It's nonsense right here, man. But see, I'm going to let this continue, man. I just wish you would have really drilled him on what our people went through to get that accomplished. We weren't just sitting on our hands and knees and white folks said, you know what, guys? The poor blacks, look at how we treat them. Let's just be lenient. Let's give them some civil rights. No, that is not what happened. In fact, the business, had our people not put foot to ass back then, you wouldn't even have the right to come here. See, that's something that I want a lot of y'all to really start drilling to their heads. They really don't understand that if we didn't do what we did during that time period, they would not be over here. White people didn't want them over here, but a lot of them really do think that in their heads. They really do believe that. So let it continue.
If so that's the difficult part of not changing a culture. You can change the law all day, but as Martin Luther King Jr., as the Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. talks about in his final book, he says, I feel like I integrated my people into a burning house.
Amanda, don't just talk about the integrating people into a burning house. Why don't you tell them what Dr. Martin Luther King said? We're coming to get our check, huh? And that's when they knew, oh, we got to get rid of this Negro. You see what I'm saying? See, look, again, a lot of people ain't gonna like that I'm saying this. Some people that's listening to this, I know some people that know this woman, Amanda Sears. Yes, I do. I don't care about offending people, okay? I really don't. I'm gonna tell my people the truth. This is what happens when you study Black history from a milquetoast point of view and you just talking about it with people in circles of academia. A lot of them are coons as well, okay? That sit up there and you want to talk to people about it in a way where you're impressing people about how much you know. Great. It's good that you know these things. Now take this information and let's use it today. That's where a lot of them fall short at. This because see, in other words, let me just be blunt. They don't have any real passion to this because it just becomes something that's a footnote to them. In other words, a novelty. When I talk about what our people went through, I'm connected to that. You understand? I'm connected to that through my family. I'm connected to that through the collective of us sharing the same experience here in America as foundational Black American freedmen. And when I talk about history, I try to get y'all to see how it correlates to present day so that we understand these systems that we're dealing with and what the ultimate goal is, okay? See, that's what they lose sight of because, hey, it's AstroTurf. It ain't grassroots. And that's exactly the problem with people like her. Let's let it continue.
Because he understood America to be a place of morality.
Well, when it came back to even back in the 1960s, like Lyndon B. Johnson actually proposed many systems in place
But
he actually
after that, people still got lynched.
Well, I can't.
So you see he's bringing up Lyndon B. Johnson, but again, what had to happen for Lyndon B. Johnson to do that? He didn't just up and do that with no encouragement from the Black grassroots at the time. These people don't know nothing about our history, man.
Really say that's a systemic problem. That's definitely a personal heart problem. Those are more people's individual choices against someone else. But when it came down to,
if the system that's in place does not incarcerate those people or create any repercussions for those actions, then it is systemic. Because when you don't allow for there to be repercussions for harmful behaviors of a people, you're literally saying our system is okay with this. So that's what Black Lives Matter is about, right? Saying okay, if police are going to act in this way, well, there should at least be fair repercussions across all people that they're doing this to, and they're not carrying out those repercussions for Black people. Why? And so the system.
Let me pause it right here. Let's go ahead and deal with the Black Lives Matter thing, because see, a lot of white people, this is how ignorant the white supremacists are. They think every Black person, yeah, you guys are BLM. Like, first of all, you jackass, Black Lives Matter was an organic grassroots movement until they infiltrated it. Rest in power to our good brother Darren Seals. He and others down there on the ground at the time were real ones in Ferguson. But then those tethers came in and hijacked it, and then it started becoming everything about LGBT, everything under the sun except for the original issue, okay? So while the phrase Black Lives Matter, yes, we agree with that ideology, but the actual organization, no, that got co-opted. So when these white folks, these white supremacists are running around talking about BLM, like they don't know anything. All they do is just go by what they tell each other. And then when she brought this up, talking about Black Lives Matter in this particular instance here, Amanda Seals, this is what I wish you would have done. Instead of going there, how about you bring it to present day with all the things that are being inflicted upon Black people right now? You don't have to talk about that co-opted Tether organization, because she probably thinks that was a good organization, because she's not connected to the grassroots. Start talking about this gentrification going on across the country. Start talking about how anytime something happens to a Black child in these schools, at the hands of one of these anti-Black racist teachers, and in some cases the Tether class, talk about how hard it is to get justice for that. See, bring it back down to the level of the experience of the people. That's what I wanted her to do. You know what I'm saying? But see, again, she's not of our lineage and she's not of the soil. Keep in mind, this is Roland Martin's pal. Yeah, I'm going there. While a lot of people got tickled in the ass about how many points she was making. No, this is one of Roland Martin's Democrat flunky pals. I don't care what she said during this interview. She is a Democrat shill. And mark my words, I'm going to triple down on it yet again. Watch her. She going to come out swinging, talking about supporting the Democrats during these damn midterms. It's coming. I'm telling you. She is not going to be able to do that. They're going to blow her cover, man. Because, see, this is what they keep doing. Again, the title of the broadcast, Trojan horse Tether tactics. They keep thinking that if they get somebody to sound like the foundational Black American Freedmen grassroots and use our talking points, that they're going to come weasel in and then we're going, let's just lead them right back to the Democrat plantation. Boy, talk about them running out of tricks. Watch. When that happened, exactly as I said, y'all gonna be like, brother, you said that shit was coming? Because this is why they sent her out here, okay? Look, I wouldn't be surprised if this whole thing was staged and orchestrated for this very purpose that I'm talking about, to legitimize her as some type of Black grassroots leader, because you know they always love trying to crown somebody a damn leader. You know, over here, we don't do that. The code is the leader over here, and common sense. That's what we follow. If something isn't in the best interest of Black people, tangible policies, things that are going to actually benefit us, then we're not supporting either political party. That's what the smart ones of us do. Now, sure, it is your right to support whatever party you want. And some people may sit it out. Some people may vote the other side for as Republican. Okay. Then you might have some people that might still be naive enough to think that they're going to change the Democratic Party from the inside. I'm like, no, you're not. The reason why that's not going to happen with either party is because both of them believe in white supremacy. The only argument between the two parties is how to go about practicing and maintaining white supremacy. That's the only real argument. So again, you know, like I said, a lot of this that here, what she's talking about here, leaves a lot to be desired. But then again, what can we expect? When she's not of our lineage and she's not connected to the Black grassroots, she doesn't know how to properly combat these things. Let it continue.
Is supporting this personal point of view that you're talking about. And that's what makes it also systemic, along with the fact that we know for a fact that the number of Black people incarcerated is greater per capita than white people. We know that Black people are having longer sentences for the same crimes than white people. That's not me making that up. Like, that is actual data.
Right,
so
pause.
systemic is real.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. How you doing, Amanda? I'm Ryan.
Ryan. Nice
to meet you. Thanks for being here. All right. Well, what I would say is, as far as systematic racism, right? I think most of us would agree that at the very least it has occurred in this country.
Okay.
Right. You know, we've had slavery, we've had Jim Crow segregation, all these different things.
Yeah.
I think my argument would be that right now in modern America, I don't think, at the very least, it's not as prevalent as it has been to where it could stop us from being successful. Okay. I would say that it's not a thing anymore where it needs to be talked about so much and so much attention focused on it. I don't think that currently there is systematic racism in a way that it's going to be harmful to us, you know, like I said, to stop us.
Okay. Now, see, this is one of these idiots that fits the description of exactly what I was saying earlier in the broadcast about people pretending as if their reality is not exactly what it is just to gain white acceptance. First of all, again, I wish you would say, well, young man, show me the exact date and time that white supremacy and anti-Black racism stopped being practiced in this country. When you hit them with that question, they're going to do one or two things. start trying to move the goalposts or get so angry where they just let that N-word fly if it's a white supremacist. Now, with the goofies that are melanated Sambozos and coons, the only thing they can start doing is going through their mental Rolodex of trolling talking points that they get from either conservatives or Democrats, okay? So y'all got to understand something, man. These types of idiots like this clown with this checkerboard shirt here on, black and white shirt, whoever he is, they're suicidal. Yes, I said it. They are suicidal. They're going to keep playing the same type of silly game until they get that fatal Negro wake-up call. And then they're going to be expecting us to come to their aid. Oh, look, let me go and give y'all an example of that. How many of y'all know who Jesse Lee Peterson is in the chat room? Give me a thumbs up if y'all know who Jesse Lee Peterson is, because I'm going to bring up something. Y'all probably know where I'm going with this, too. How many of y'all remember Jesse Lee Peterson? Give me a thumbs up in chat, a black thumbs up. Because I'm going to go somewhere with this. Y'all going to laugh your ass off. And for those of you that probably been over here a long time, y'all know the example I'm about to use. How many of y'all in my chat room know who Jesse Lee Peterson is? I've seen 3 people. Okay, Daryl, he knows. Dad Miller TV knows. Southern Breeze knows. Pamela, okay, she know. Okay, so a couple of y'all familiar with old Jesse Lee Peterson. Lee Holmes knows. Okay, so now, here's the deal. Remember when Jesse Lee Peterson was at that rally a couple of years ago and that white woman started pointing her finger in his chest and getting on him? And all of a sudden, the oldest coon in recorded history, all of a sudden he remembers what anti-black race. You're a racist. I'm like, whoa, Giblet. No, sir. No, sir. No, you don't, you little peanut head fucker, you. You said for years it ain't no such thing as racism. You said it ain't no white supremacy. You tried to spin the argument, well, black people just need to come back to God. Like, motherfucker, your cowardly ass don't know nothing about the Most High. The one thing that the Most High is not is a cowardly entity or creator. And he did not create us to be cowards. The Most High created us to fight injustice, okay? That go to show you how much he doesn't know about the scriptures in the Bible. All right, but see, my point is this. A lot of them Sambos like that, they'll do what he does until they get that wake-up call from a true to the game white supremacist that don't care nothing about all that cooning and buffooning they do. And then they show you, they're like, okay, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. I got something for all that cooning you doing. Get on out the way, boy. I ain't trying to hear that. Let me show you how I really feel about your black ass. That's how they going to do it. You understand? So this idiot right here talking about he doesn't think that those systems are still in place and operating at the same level today. Okay. Well, show me in every area of society where black people are treated fairly in America. Show me where we get equal justice. And then Amanda brought up something here that she could really just go ahead and bust him across the head with. Okay, if you don't believe that, then how is it that in the whitest states where black people are in the single digit percentages, they're the highest part of the prison population in the majority white states? You think about that now, places like Vermont, Oregon, that makes no fucking sense. You understand? You would think that the larger majority of the population would be mostly represented in the prisons, but it's not that way. Y'all look that information up. You understand? See, I stick with the reality of things, man. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I understand she had her little agenda here trying to play with kid gloves, but nah. She did do good as far as like just stating certain facts, but I wish she would have made it more personal. But you can't do that when you're not connected to the black grassroots. Let it continue.
Anything really, I think institutions such as things with DEI.
What do you think DEI is?
Basically, I think that it's in a way it's racism against other races. Outside.
Let me get in with this DEI shit, okay? Boy, you goofy ass white supremacists, I get it. Most of you suffered from, being in relationships with your sisters and your brothers and your cousins and stuff. That incest really fucks up your mental cognitive abilities. Okay, I get that. I understand it. But see, when you looked at the actual numbers on DEI, and y'all remember I showed those numbers over here several times. I'm not the only one. Black people wasn't the majority of people that benefited off of that. It was mostly white folks, white women, and white LGBTQ people. And every other so-called minority group had higher representation in those DEI positions than we did. But yet, the people that the smallest representation, it's reverse racism, DEI. Really? How? How the fuck does that work? You see how stupid these damn white supremacists are? How the fuck does it qualify as reverse racism when we not now? Look, we were in the single digits as far as who was benefiting off DEI. You understand? I showed that many times. These are absolute idiots that claim to have high IQs. Look, do you know what I've always said for years? The most dangerous thing in the world is a bunch of stupid people in the same place at the same time. This is look. Besides like the white supremacists being anti-black racists, this is the reason why I don't want nothing to do with them. Even if they weren't anti-black racists, they are utterly stupid. I don't want to be around stupid people. They are very dangerous. They're dangerous to themselves and anything around them. Think about it. This is why they're running the damn country into the ground. Remember I showed y'all that study a couple years back where Citibank was showing how much money they were losing in the financial institution because of anti-black racist policies. A black person coming there with excellent credit, they got capital in the bank, and you still won't give them the same terms on the loan that you would a white person that don't even have half of what that black person has. See, that kind of stupidity, that has contributed to running this country in the ground on an economic level. You understand? They're willing to cut their damn nose off to spite their face. The reason why we don't have free health care in this country because they are afraid that black people gonna get something. They continue to tell the lie, talking about we get the majority of the so-called government aid programs. Really? Think about how stupid this is. See, I'm not even getting into the numbers of it. We just gonna use some basic rudimentary common sense. If black people was the highest representation of those government programs, they would have shut that shit down a long time ago. But yet we know who are the biggest beneficiaries of that. It's you white folks. Owsley County, Kentucky, anybody? That's right. Owsley County, Kentucky. Y'all know about that. Over 90% of them rednecks and cousin loving fuckers are on some damn government assistance. Okay? Come on now. They don't like talking about facts over here. Because see, look, sometimes you don't even need to get into the weeds of mathematics and statistics. Sometimes you just look at common sense, what we see in the real world. Don't get me wrong now. Those numbers do come in handy. Y'all know I've showed them for years on this channel. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, hey, man, sometimes you have to hit people like these silly Sambos in the face with those types of facts. Sitting up here with all this stupid babble coming out of his mouth. I'm like, man, you know, nothing you say makes any sense. Reverse racism. Okay. This is what I would have asked this stupid ass. I would have said, okay, since you think that DEI was some great boon and benefit to black people, well, then you should be able to point to me across the board all the different positions that elevated black people up to CEO level, elevated black people across the board in all professions up to the highest paying status, getting promotions. That's not what we see. Come on, family. Who's got the greater majority of the higher paying jobs in this country? Huh? Who's got, you know what I'm saying, the most prominent positions at these corporations? It's not black people at all, by any stretch of the imagination. And if there are black people that are at the top of these positions, you better believe that black person is overqualified to be there. Because we have to prove that we know above and beyond whatever the standard is for whatever we trying to get. See, that's one thing about it. When you do come across a successful black person in corporate America or any of the blue collar regular jobs, that black person earned that. We don't get the fill up. We can't come out of prison and get a high paying job and degree, but you know who can? Or that white man and that white woman can. They can come out of prison with no high school education at all and get better paying jobs than the most degreed black person that don't even have a record. That's been proven many times throughout the years. You understand? So see, this little old pea-head bastard right here, man, that's what I would have hit him with. But, you know, I'm going to let Amanda continue to talk to him here because let me get his ass off the screen here. That fucked up ass hairdo he got. Sometimes that's another thing these damn tellers. They don't have no personal pride about their fucking appearance when they come out the house. They just come out looking any kind of way. Absolutely pathetic. Let's let it continue.
The blacks. And so
Where did you get that concept of it from?
I've researched a lot of things. I looked at different clips from both sides of the argument, things like that. But basically my point is I think that as far as systematic racism, I think that there's evidence from the other side in that there's different things that are pushing black people up in ways that are not fair and different things like that. Because I think that we should be.
Wait. See, that's what I don't like about that. Instead of just her asking, why is it not fair? I'll be like, okay, name these things. See, this is what I want to teach you on my platform. This is what I've tried to do for years. I'm a bit more serrated and a bit more focused when it comes to these types of conversations, because if you say something like that around me, I'm going to ask you to name the things that are pushing black people up. Because even if you try to use the old affirmative action argument, black people weren't the biggest beneficiaries of that. It was white women. They was double dipping, okay? Huh? Come on now. So when people start talking like this, be like, hold up. Name the things that are pushing us to the top where we got all these unfair advantages. Come on now. See, you can't let them get away with that kind of stuff, man. But see, you know, again, they talk about how academically inclined Amanda Seals is, but see, you know, that was an easy one there. I'm like, oh no, you finna name, I would have told him, name me 5 things that are pushing black people to the top unfairly over all these other groups in this country. And then after you name that for me, you better start showing me some statistics as far as like where the pay of these black people is above the average in their particular community. I'm like, let's get into these numbers if you're gonna go there. You understand? But again, she didn't do it. So let it continue.
Merit-based. I think that should always be merit-based, and where we're in, you know, when there's jobs and the different things like that, race should not be something that's considered. And so I think that, let's say that there are ways right now where systematic racism is still alive. Again, it's not holding us back to a point where we can still be successful. We've seen so many examples, you know, today in modern times where Black Americans can, you know, there's no opportunities that I have that a white person or that a white person has that I don't have. That I believe that all opportunities.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, really, player? And she asked him, are you sure about that? I'll be like, okay, player. All right. You say that, you know, there's no opportunities that you have that, you know, that white people don't have. Okay, I got you. I got you. I would say, well, okay, so you telling me that you can go to court like Kyle Rittenhouse and have the judge act as your de facto defense attorney with that $1 million worth of white? You think you can do that? You think you can pull out what Daniel Penny did, you know, on the subway train, and you just side choke out of white supremacists, huh? You think you're going to get off like they did? That what you think? See, I would have took it there with him. I would have took it a step further. I'd be like, okay, we don't even have to get that extreme with it. No. We don't have to get that extreme with it at all. This is what I would ask him. I say, okay, so you think that you can go and apply to get any job and you be a tenured employee there, due for a promotion, you think that you can stop them from promoting a less qualified white person over you? Fact of business, you think that they won't have you train this less qualified black person and then put them over you as your fucking supervisor? You damn fool, you. Huh? See, that's where I would have took it with him. But see, I want you to watch what Amanda Seals is about to do here. You know, hey, this is going to be funny here. Let's let it continue.
Can you actually say that?
I would say that I have every opportunity in this country to be successul, to do what I want to do, and to stand on business that every other race has. Absolutely. And
do you have the
again,
same support?
Even if I don't have the same support, I can do what I got to do.
Do you have the same support?
I probably have more. I can have more
same
support
community
than others.
Support?
I have excellent community support.
That's
Absolutely.
lucky for you.
Sure. Yeah.
Where did you grow up in a lower income, middle income, high income community?
It was middle income.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, I think that even those who grow up in very needy situations, right, they may not have been dealt a great hand of cards.
But they still...
They can still, you know, I think it comes down to accountability. You can still play your hand and play your cards strategically in a way where you can still be successful, you can still do your thing, and you can wind up on top. And there's nothing stopping us from doing that.
Would you say that low-income white people and low-income black people have the same ability to excel?
I would say they have the same ability to excel.
Okay, so I'm going to start countering from that point then.
Sure.
So,
and before she does that, look, let me just go ahead and make a plan, all right? I like that she asked that question, but I would have told him, I'd be like, no, we can easily prove that you can look at the same income bracket of black folks on each level, not just the poorest. You can look at the middle class and the upper middle class and then the top tier. Because even when you get to the top tier of earners in this country, okay, the upper 1% to 5%, especially when you're dealing with corporate America, you don't see black people getting treated the same as white folks. No, we are highly underrepresented in those areas. This is why I say if you ever see a black person get to the top, it's one or two things. Either you are overqualified to be there and they couldn't find another white person to do what you did and they want to make sure that they make the most money are the best decisions for that corporation, or you're a little tutti frutti Billy Porter party guy, and they like having you sashaying around the office, and they put you there as a mascot. That's the only way you get that high to the top. We just got to tell it like it is. Somebody tell me if I'm lying now. So now when you get to the lower income brackets, you do not see equality anywhere. You don't. You do not see it. In fact, the business, if you do start seeing it, what do? They start crying. Oh, we all know. Look, every one of you in this chat room probably know the white person that loved to run to the HR department. Oh, yeah, I see that you gave Pamela a raise there. I've been here a long time. How much is she getting? Well, it's funny that you pay somebody that came in 2 minutes late. I saw that. I just wanted you to know this while you're giving people that are late. Devin Haley, I saw you too. Oh, yeah, I'm going to snitch on you. Can't stand your little black ass. Come to work, hair all looking good. You're smelling good. Seen you buying some new stuff. I'm over here in a trailer park. I'm not happy with this. Let me get you fired. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, I just got to tell it like it is. They want you fired. They don't want y'all here successful and thriving. Never mind that, look, I'm just going to go ahead and really make these white supremacists mad. In every particular job or profession in this country, it's the black people that are the most qualified. We make that shit work, man. Without us, they wouldn't know what the fuck to do. This is why they don't completely just get rid of folks. Because, look, they could pass the laws and take it back to that, but they know who actually have the real skill set. And look, how many times have any of you on whatever profession you in, how many times have you come up with a solution or, a fix to a problem, and instead of giving you your credit, they'll steal your idea? You know what I'm saying? Especially in corporate America. Oh, boy, it's bad, boy. Y'all I know some of y'all probably work in corporate America here. Don't you come up with no idea, man, and boy, they will steal that shit right from my man. I'm trying to tell you. Hey, Daryl, hey, that HR snitch, man. Hey, the Alabaster HR snitch. Boy, they camp out in HR. They can't wait to see you do something wrong. Oh, I'm telling, buddy. Run their little ass so that, when the white people get mad, they do their little power walk, little tight ass pants they be wearing, motherfuckers. But this idiot sitting up here talking crazy, man. This doesn't make any sense. I like where Amanda Sears is about to go here, though, so I'm going to let it continue.
Ultimately, we know that our low-income communities are not given the same access to resources on a myriad of levels. They don't even have the same air quality, okay? We know that low-income communities in general are also going to be much more policed than other communities. We know that policing as it exists in the United States came from slave catching. So even the tradition of policing comes from protecting property, not protecting people, okay? So let's start there. When we talk about low-income, like the working class black people in this nation, we know that they have never been considered. Ever, whether they were slaves or not. They just weren't considered. And we also know, as our brother Isaiah pointed out, that there are still people in very powerful positions that hold very personal positions as it relates to racism. And so in that way, they are impediments to someone moving forward. When we talk about DEI, the concept of DEI is not about lowering a standard. It's about widening the options. So we live in a nation that I feel like a lot of y'all are looking at the United States as a long history of something. We have a short history, all right? For 400 years, there was slavery. Black people were not even considered whole humans. We were 3/5 human. After the Civil War, during Reconstruction, Black people were then subjected to the Black Laws. The Black Laws were specifically for Black people. The Black Laws incarcerated Black people at such an exorbitant rate that they were able to get another slave labor force through the 13th Amendment, because you had Black people that were serving entire life, like months-long, years-long sentences for jaywalking. So
yes, the black codes, not the black laws, the black codes were the beginning of the prison industrial complex system that we see today. And making profit off of that through the 13th Amendment, we all know slavery is still legal here in the case of punishment and being in prison. So now, I would have further added to that while she was excoriating this bastard here. I would have said, listen, man, show me any other group of people besides black folks that had some black codes or any type of codes put on them that had the same systemic effect right on up to this day that we have. You can't show me any other group. I don't care if they were temporarily hazed. There was nothing the equivalent of Jim Crow, the black codes, or slavery for any other group that immigrated over here. Nothing. And they know that. See, this is why I don't do that whole black and brown shit, because we don't have the same experience in this country. See, for me, I don't go by just okay because we get along and we party together. That means that, oh, we got some shared experience. Oh, no. Anybody can party with you when things are good. Where the fuck are you at when there's hard times going on for our people? And see, I would also brought this point up. If you think that there's no such thing as systemic racism today, okay, let's go back to the political level with both parties. Why don't you see other politicians advocating to support black people the way we support other groups? Because the Congressional Black Caucus put everybody's needs ahead of ours. You don't see the AAPI advocating for nothing with black folks. Hispanic Caucus don't do that. None of these other groups come out and advocate for us to get what we need the same way that our so-called, and I use so-called with air quotes, representatives advocate for everybody under the sun except for us, okay? Everybody except for us. Look at how these Democrat Sambos are sitting up here wanting to crash out and get themselves locked up, fighting over immigration, something that has been proven to actually harm black people. Huh? Actually, it harms America as a whole, because when you bringing all these people in here to get them to do cheap labor, that's taking jobs away from Americans because these corporations are too fucking greedy to pay a living wage to people to do the work. Let me go ahead and underscore this. I heard one of the Sambos over in one of my brother's spaces talking about, the H-1B visa situation and talking about, well, do you think that they're important, these people over here, because there's not enough people that's skilled enough to do that? Bullshit. There's enough people over here of all demographics to do every job we need in America. All that's about is saving money and underpaying people. And then I'm going to give y'all something to shut that argument down. Anytime you hear somebody use that, well, they're important people because there's not enough skilled Americans. I'm like, okay, let's just say what you said was correct, which is not. Then this would be the bigger reason that you should see both parties advocating to put the trades back in the schools. Oh, did I go there? Yes, I did. Come on now. If it's really that bad, why are we not advocating to put the trades back in the schools? That way, everybody that come out has some type of particular skill set. And when I say that, I'm talking about advance it to fit modern society. So definitely a lot more of the trades will be technology based, STEM trades and things of that nature. Come on, man. If it's really that bad, well then why we're not having that in these schools as a part of the basic curriculum? Huh? See, look, I'm saying that for a reason. I want y'all to remember what I just told you, because you have to understand when you're talking to people that bring these things up in bad faith, you have to give them a route to go for a solution. And watch how they freeze up and their brains start to grind down like an engine with no oil. They can't think straight when you start talking actual solutions, or better yet, if you know somebody that's trying to implement them things, like, okay, I'm glad we agree on this, so I can count on you to help out with this, right? Oh boy, that's when they get the hell on. When the rubber meet the road and it's time to actually put foot to pavement to get something done, oh no, you ain't gonna find them then. Let it continue.
When we look at these things, we act as if, well, why can't we just get over that? That's 2 generations previous, okay? So if a father in the early 1900s was incarcerated for 2 years, how do you think that would impede their family from being able to grow, right?
Sure.
Now you're affecting the ability for their children to have 2 parents in the home. You also now have a mother who's like incredibly stressed and may have to always be working, so she's not able to parent, etc. We also know that there is a continued effort in this nation to not have Black people know the history of this nation. Like our good sis here was talking about, like, we have resilience, but this nation actively works systemically to keep that from us, right? We look in Florida at the laws that they are passing to not allow education about our past. And we know that if we don't know where we came from, how can we know where we're going?
Sure, okay.
All right, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, so now let me build on what she was saying there. See, she didn't take that far enough. Yes, I'm going here with it. I would have said, okay, can you explain to me why a country that's supposed to be so progressive and pass all this racism, why is this country, okay, in many states as we see, trying this hardest to erase a part of actual American history? What happened with our ancestors being enslaved, that's a part of American history. What are you trying to erase it for? if you really feel like you made just recompense for it, you would be proud to talk about this. See, watch this. I'm finna thread a needle. Again, I've said it for years. It's up to black folks to make sure our children understand our history in this country. All right. But just for the sake of the argument here, I would say, okay, if you feel like you're doing right by black people today, why you want to erase that? Because see, you would say, okay, this is where we were as a nation. And look how far we've come. We paid foundational Black American freedmen reparations. All right. We're treating them equally. We have an anti-black hate crime bill here. All right. Look, I'm going to give you the big one. This is one that you can hit both political parties with before we let this continue. I want y'all to take notes. I want y'all to get ready to write this down or remember this part of the broadcast, okay? What I would have told all of these fucking coons sitting around here in this damn coon circle here, okay? Sambo circle, whatever you want to call it. I would have said, okay, if you think America isn't an anti-black racist country and I'm just making all this stuff up, then explain to me why aren't voting rights for black Americans ingrained in the Constitution? Why do we need a bill to be signed every 25 years? Huh? The mere fact that that hasn't been done yet, what does that tell you? See, you have to hit a Sambo with shit that they can't argue with. Because see, they, in their mind, all this cooning, they've detached themselves from actually being black people. So you have to hit them with a fact that affects all of us. Again, if we're considered equal citizens, think about it. White folks don't have to have their voting rights signed on and checked off on every 25 years. That's us. And here's where the Tether class should be concerned. That means you Asians, white Hispanics, East Indians, Arab, those of you that are naturalized over here, you should be the biggest proponents of that. Hey, sign that Civil Rights Act and that Voting Rights Act into the Constitution. Huh? You see, this is why they don't like you, brother. They don't like me, man, because I'm going to bring up the stuff that actually matters. Notice neither political party is talking about doing what I just said. Let it continue.
All good.
That's flags.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi again.
We cool now?
We good. We good. I think we're on the same. We're kind of looking at the same side of the same coin, and I think because we both want the betterment of the Black community, and I think we're maybe coming from it from different ways. And so I do respect your position to what you were saying as well, that there are certain things and powers at play. And I've experienced racism firsthand. A lot of conservatives may try to act like, oh, there's no racism in America. I absolutely believe there is racism in America. I believe racist people exist. I just don't think that the systems as they stand today are inherently racist, because I've seen too many Black people overcome. And I just feel like a lot of times what's left out of the dialogue is self-accountability and like self-will. We talked about how we were 3/5 of a person, but now we are 100%, I guess, according to.
So let me stop this heifer right here, okay? See what she's doing, family. She's doing, because we've heard plenty of white folks do this, white supremacists. They're using the, well, this black person is successful. How's their racism? Look at LeBron James. They start picking the upper 1% of black people, and that's supposed to affect the collective of black society. That's basically what she's doing here. So see, I want you to pay attention to the sneaky way that she tried to say this. I believe in racism. I believe it exists. I just don't believe it's systematic. Oh, really? Okay. Well, see, the question I would have asked, I said, okay, since you say that that's what you believe, how are you on one hand going to say that racism, you believe it exists, you've experienced it yourself? Because I would ask her to define what she thinks racism is, because a lot of them really don't understand that term. But I would have said, okay, if you believe that you've experienced racism, you think it exists, then you're going to turn around and say, well, I haven't seen it hinder black people. Black people have overcome. Here's the shutdown question. What did black people have to overcome if it wasn't racism? Think about it. What are the obstacles? When you use the word overcome, that means there's something in the way that you have to overcome to get to where you're going. Now, if it's not systematic racism for black people, okay? If it's not systematic racism for black people, then what the fuck is the obstacle? Explain it. You see what I'm saying? Explain it. If there's nothing in the way systematic, then what else would stop us? Because, see, we know what happens when there's nothing in the way that will stop us from excelling. We overperform. We over excel. This is the reason why they had to burn down Black Wall Street and many other of our towns across this nation. Slocum, Texas, okay? I could keep on going. When you get over to Delaware, places like that. I mean, all across this country, man. When black people are not sabotaged and left alone for us to build, we over excel. Despite the cherry picking of the lower rungs of society they try to use to represent the whole of black people as if all of us are criminals. No, the greater majority of black people get up and go to whatever job or business they run every day and are law-abiding citizens. We are, okay? That's the fact of the matter. Like they learning in D.C. now, and that to their disgrace, you got United States troops out there picking up trash. All because you had this fictional idea, thanks to the Orange Man and many like him, operating off this birth of a nation or persona in their heads where they think black people are these roving bands of savages just committing all this crime. That is not the reality. But see, if they would have paid all that attention to their school shooters here, like that recent one, Robert Westman, and I broke that down on Patreon for those of you that are over there, y'all see, I showed you how psychotic this bastard was. They could have stopped that a long time ago, huh? So she's saying that racism doesn't exist and talking about all these black people she's seen overcome stuff. Okay, tell us what they had to overcome. See, I like to drill down and make these Sambos go ahead and say what it really is. But see, sometimes, you know, people like Amanda Seals, they forget to do that. Let's let it continue.
Law or whatever, a person. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you wanted to walk out here right now and decide, you know what, I want to change my career, I want to do that, you can. And that's why so many people, and Nigerians come here, and Indians come here, and so many people who are not white, who are supposed to be discriminated against because they're not white, they come here and they become doctors and lawyers. Why? Because to your point, there's community. There's a sense of pride about, you know what, I got to go honor my parents back in Nigeria. I'm part Nigerian. I have to go honor my parents. I have to go honor my elders. They're not twerking and shaking booty. They're getting sick.
They are literally twerking and shaking booty in
the
Nigeria.
Nigerians I know ain't doing it. If they are
we
twerking and shaking, but they
learned
doctors
it from Africa.
They're doctors twerking and shaking booty, so maybe they can shake because they got the money to back it up. But do you see what you're saying? But do you see what I'm saying, though? We have to be honest, Amanda. When Indians come here,
as a fellow daughter of an immigrant,
okay,
right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work and was able to get green cards for folks. So shout out to my mom. There's a very big difference in growing up somewhere and coming from a place where you are the majority and where your people are running the show than being somewhere where your people have been subjugated the entire time your people have been here.
But your mama came here and she wasn't the majority, so how did she succeed?
She succeeded because she came here with the fortitude of coming from a place.
Her resilience, right?
No, but
she had her village.
Let me say what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll let you unpack.
If we don't acknowledge divide and conquer in the United States, we are having a pointless conversation.
I agree.
We have to acknowledge that there is a concerted effort at divide and conquer in the United States. We're literally...
So now, see, this is what I would have said, all right? She gets to talking about, you know, because boy, it's always a Nigerian, and I hate to say it. And I know some solid Nigerian brothers and sisters, shout out to y'all. But that Tether class like this helper here that's talking, man, I would have said, okay, if your people are so great, why did they have to leave where they were from in order to come over here? Think about it. If where you from is great, you don't leave permanently and never go back. You go visit. There's nothing wrong with travel. It's the best education anybody can get. But if you're so great, why would you leave and never come back? Because the greater majority of them, if they get here or to the UK, oh, they ain't never going back home. That's what I would have asked. And again, let's go to the point that Amanda Seals brought over as far as her people. And most of the Tether class being the majority in these nations they come from, they try to say that there's no such thing as white supremacy. I'll be like, okay, well, why do you think your people are having to flee those countries? Because even though you have black leaders, white supremacy still controls your economy. Think about it. How many times have you seen when one of these world leaders at these summits snap their fingers and all the African leaders go running their asses over there with the exception of a handful, huh? Shout out to the brother Ibrahim Traore for taking a stand and standing on business with his country. I hope many others follow suit and back that brother up because he's got the right idea. But outside of him and Julius Malema, the rest on, they just get up and go running. Now, here's what I'm about to ask, all right? Because, see, we got to go here with this. How many African leaders can snap their finger and summon any white Western leader from the UK, America, France, Germany, Russia, anywhere on the planet? How many of them have that power? Come on, talk to me. Let me know. I have yet to see it. I'm going to take it a step further. How many African nations have placed sanctions on any nation in the West? Just like they have done African countries like Zimbabwe, huh? Come on. I need to know. See, these are the things that I will bring up in this type of conversation here before they start looking at black folks over here wagging their finger. You a goddamn failure. If you had to take up and flee and skedaddle away from your homeland, never to go back, especially your men, don't you come over here and wag your finger at my people. Have you lost your damn mind? That's what I would have said to her. Yeah, see, boy, they better hope I don't never have no conversation with a circle of coons like this. Let's let it continue.
Watching it happen right now with an effort to divide and conquer and have black people fighting immigrants and have black people saying that immigrants don't matter.
And so fighting white people.
White people is not the point. The concept of white people is about people who are upholding a supremacy of whiteness versus people who understand that there should be an egalitarianism. There should be an equality.
That we are becoming the new white supremacists.
We are.
We've been putting them on a pedestal.
We are.
We feel like we can't do anything.
No, it's not that we're putting them. It's not that we're putting them on a pedestal. It's that we are joining them and instead weaponizing our blackness against our people. When we do what you're saying, we are saying, I am better because I figured it out, and so you're the problem because you didn't figure it out.
But Amanda, what about if I believe that the American dream is, I have a right to that as well? Is that me joining white people, or is that me saying, you know what, I want a life for my dream? The American dream for me, because it may look different from other people. Some people it's a boss chick. For me, I want my kids to grow up in a wonderful neighborhood. I want them to go to college. I want to have a 401k. I want to do this. I want to do that. So
I would have asked her little old woodchuck tooth ass. Okay, I would have asked a little woodchuck tooth ass. I would have said, hey, so what do you consider a good neighborhood? Because see, when they say that, they mean white neighborhood. And I'm going to keep it all the way funky. You got some foundational black American freedmen Sambos. They think that good neighborhood mean white folks, as if there's no decent black neighborhoods nowhere in the damn country. See, the people that are silly enough to go by that type of ideology, they don't realize you placing yourself behind enemy lines. Where the fuck do you think white supremacists live? Even if you actually don't believe they exist, take your stupid ass over to an all-white neighborhood as a black person. No matter how much cooning and buffooning you do, no matter how much you think you've achieved and accomplished, they don't want you over there living with them. Why you think Eric Orwell is trying to start this white enclave over up in the woods somewhere? Look, let me tell y'all something, right? I'm gonna make a prediction on that. A lot of people clowning dude. I respect that he had the tenure and the actual fortitude to go ahead and do something about that and say, okay, you know what? I'm tired of being around all these darkies and people of color, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to go over here and build my own little enclave out in the woods somewhere. Mark my words, a lot more white people are going to join him. He's going to get funding from a lot of different places. Do not be surprised if he find out a way to get federal funding for what he's trying to do. He's just one of the few that's bold enough to come on out and say, look, I'm tired of playing games. I don't want to be around no niggas, no none of that, okay? Let me just go on up here in these woods, build my little enclave, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to get this white supremacy popping up here, okay? See, all of them talking about what rights and stuff they think they have that's on par with a white person, go walking your ass up there in his community. He done told you he don't want no niggas up there now, but they think they just the same. Remember little buddy before her? Oh, there's no such thing as me not having the same rights as a white person in this country. Okay, go up there and tell Eric Orwell that. See what happens. You ain't even got to go there. Just go to places like Vida, Texas, Rebecca, Georgia, Griffin, Georgia, huh? Come on now, go on down to parts of Mississippi. Oh, I know some places where your ass better not go. As a black person, you can run up there with all that cooling you want. They ain't trying to hear that, huh? So little woodchuck mouth here, boy. Boy, she got some nerve coming over here. See, this the thing, man. I will never understand how they become so bold to have all this critique for foundational black Americans in our homeland when we made it possible for your little goofy asses to come over here. You don't have nothing. Look, if I had to flee where I was from, let's take it here since I'm going here, damn it. Let me go here. If I had to flee where I was from and I know I had no intention of going back, family, I would be very humble. And grateful that them people let me in their country, made a way for me to come here and be prosperous and be safe. Listen, man, you can't run around with your chest puffed out and poked out as if you've accomplished something by running away from a problem. You hold your head up and puff your chest out when you achieve a victory and conquer said problem, especially on your own land where you the majority. See, a lot of people don't keep putting that in their face. You know me, when I talk to a teller, that's the first place I'm going. I'm like, wait. Where you say you from, Giblet? Huh? Yeah, man. And again, friendly reminder, we don't mention other YouTubers in my chat room, just like they don't mention other YouTubers in their chat room. Okay? Y'all make sure y'all check your fire on that. Remember that. All right. And we don't type in all caps over here. I reserve that for in case I'm trying to bring something to y'all's attention. Friendly reminder, okay? But again, back to little woodchuck mouth here. We're going to let her continue.
So I feel like a lot of times in the Black community, we associate anything that's right or that's just or that's striving forward with whiteness. So when you say that we're working with
it's whiteness, it's capitalism. And I think that's what we have to understand the difference of. The concept of capitalism always is grounded in exploitation.
But Amanda, we're sitting here benefiting from capitalism, and you know that because you would want to move to a
that we are benefiting.
state.
I understand that we are benefiting from capitalism, but I also understand that we would have other people and a majority of people benefit if we were not solely capitalist. That is what it means to be a Black radical. It's to understand that I can benefit as well as others.
So, Amanda, what is your solution then? Because we know that capitalism benefits us, and people are coming
My
here every
solution
day.
is what I continue to say. We need to have coalition building across cultural differences, across ethnicities, across classes.
And that includes collaborating with white people.
I've never said it didn't.
But I feel
this
like a lot of
obsession, this obsession with white people fails to acknowledge the fact that there are people who benefit from white supremacy.
But we live in America,
Let me finish
Amanda.
my point.
Go
There
ahead.
are people who benefit from white supremacy that do not identify themselves as white. They don't consider that to be the most important element of their identity because they understand that at the end of the day, we need to see each other as humans that all deserve a right to exist.
Exactly.
Well, see, Amanda, now see, this is where Amanda dropped the ball at. If you're going to go there talking about the white supremacists, you got to include the white supremacist adjacent class, which means Asians that identify as white Hispanics that identify as white and historically fought for that right. Both groups did. I've shown y'all that history on this channel. Okay. East Indians, even the ones at Vivek, some of them will come over here and try to put Caucasian down. Hello, Kamala Harris, yo mammy. Yeah, I'm going there. Yes, I am. Huh? The Arabs, that's what they identify as when they come over here. Huh? So, I mean, you got to bring all of this up. When we talking about white supremacy, we got to talk about their tools, including the Tether class, like little Miss Woodchuck mouth here. Boy, that bitch's teeth is a beast. Yes, I'm not being polite. Look at this. Look, you know what? I got to be petty. I'll get back to getting to this critique in a moment. I got to go here. First of all, baby, that ragged ass wig that you got on your head, that shit looked like you could strike a match on that son bitch and light it a fire. I don't know if any of you smoke cigars in here. I don't, but hell, if you needed to, light one up, you pull out a wooden match and strike that on that bitch's dry ass wig. And then what's with these little old can opener teeth? Boy, she look like a damn piranha in a damn denim jacket. Man, I bet you could take that motherfucker teeth and put a can in there. I'm trying to tell you, look, this bitch look like a fucking survival tool. That's what the fuck she look like. The little raggedy buck-toothed ass sitting up here disparaging my people. The fuck she think she is, man? See, I don't have no mercy for these motherfuckers. I respect everybody. I love you all day long as a brother or sister. But when you come over here and start doing this bullshit right here, come on now. Man, boy, look at these damn teeth, man. Damn mutant underpass mouth looking fucker. Boy, I'm gonna leave it alone, y'all. Let's let it continue.
We all deserve a right to exist, and I shouldn't have to earn my right to exist. And that is what capitalism does.
What makes you think that you have to earn it? That's what I'm saying.
That is what this nation is. You do have to earn it.
You do.
Yes, you do. That is why we are criminalizing the poor. We are criminalizing the poor on a regular basis. How so? Because we're not even allowing for a wage to happen to allow people to get out of poverty. We are seeing inflation grow.
We both have people in our family that have done it, so we can't.
No, we have not had people that are done it. My mother came to America with an entire nursing degree. I can't say, oh, well, my mother did it. Why?
Now, I like that Amanda Seals brought that up because, see, y'all know they all have that story. Oh, my people came over with $2 in their pocket, telling that motherfucking lie. Like, no, you ain't going to no country with the equivalent of no $2 in your pocket. You ain't going to no country and get off your feet like that because you're going to need somewhere to live. You're going to need food. You're going to need clothing. You're going to need all manner of different things to survive. So that lie that they keep telling, nah, that's not happening. Especially if you don't know nobody. It'd be one thing you say you came over with $2 in your pocket and you had somebody that put you up, because where you gonna stay at? Nah. So see, this is how a lot of them, when they immigrate and come over here, they've already had degrees from where they come from. So they're not starting at the bottom. Okay. And see, this is another thing that I don't like about the Tether class, right? My brother Dad Miller TV said that we like a tumbleweed in a Western movie. Oh my God, that is hilarious. It does though. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look. before I get back to that shit, they're gonna be talking about how much better that they do than somebody. I'm like, man, why can't they never fix them fucked up ass wigs, man? You doing better than somebody. You can't get your basic goddamn appearance together, man. Listen here, but see, this is the thing, right? This is what I don't like when they do. They come over here if they're educated and they have, you know what I'm saying, academic credentials, and they try to compare themselves to the lowest in Black American society. And I'm like, okay, if you want to play that game, if you took our best and brightest and put us in any of their countries, man, we would far exceed not only their lower class, but their most educated. Oh, I'm finna go here with razor blades and roller skates on tonight. You right, I am. I'm going here, damn it. I got one better for you. You raggedy tether class motherfuckers, how about you compare your best to our best? Let's do that comparison. Oh, you don't want to go there because, see, they always keep talking as if they've done something that foundational Black American freedmen haven't done in this country. If you hadn't come over here and gotten a job that we hadn't established, you hadn't started no business that we hadn't established, huh? What? See, this is what I want y'all to remember to ask these motherfuckers. When they start talking crazy like that, be like, okay, cool. It's put up a shut up time. Let's put all the cards on the table. What are you doing on a one-to-one basis on the same level better than us? What are you doing? Huh? See, that's what y'all got to bring it back to. Be like, no, don't go comparing yourself. If you're a degreed person and you're not from this country, don't go comparing yourself to a high school dropout. No. Don't you do that. Compare yourself to your equivalent in this country. Now, that's where the tail of the tape is going to go. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen the numbers on that. We kick their asses going up one side and down the other. See, that's the conversation I like to bring it back to. Let's let it continue.
Can't you? Because
my
mother
mama was pregnant at 19 from the south side of Chicago with no degree and still made
good
something
for
of
your
herself.
mom. But this is the thing.
So we can't do it.
It's not. The question isn't whether or not some people can do it. The question and the reality is that it is not available to everyone in an equal way.
And that's unfortunate, man. But you know we live in a broken
not
society. I went to Nigeria and they're having the same problems, and there's a bunch of Black people that are running Nigeria.
It's a broken society.
But it's the same thing in
But
Nigeria.
Nigeria is a broken society, whereas Burkina Faso is not. Burkina Faso is not.
That's time.
My final claim is Black conservatism fails to meet the needs of the working class. Ant Dog, okay, talk to me.
So I think Black conservatives, we're the ones who really want the best for working people.
Oh.
I think we're the ones, like a lot of the liberals, a lot of the leftists, they want us to do things like office work. They want us to go reparations, try to get things from the government and get handouts. We say, hey, go out there and
Me go ahead and start RoboCoon, Anthony Brian Logan. Boy, talk about how weird this motherfucker talking. I'm not talking about him using proper English. He talks like this. He talks like a RoboCoon 3000. He always sounds like this when he talk. That's ridiculous, man. Listen, man, reparations isn't no fucking handout. It's a legally old blood debt, and we are not going to back down off that until the reparations are paid. You want us to stop talking about it? Cut the motherfucking checks. Now, here's something I want every foundational Black American freeman under the sound of my voice to understand. This is something that we have to check our own people about. If you're a tax-paying citizen in this country, man, especially of our lineage, our government is supposed to work for us the same as it does other people. Think about it. You don't hear Asians, East Indians, Arabs, Hispanics. You damn sure don't hear white people talking about what the government shouldn't do for them. Our government is supposed to work for us too, damn it. We built this son of a bitch. I ain't gonna let nobody sit up here and tell me, being a taxpaying citizen and a veteran at that, you're not going to tell me that my government doesn't owe me. I put my life on the line for this country. Fuck you and everything you stand for any son of a bitch that's sitting up here talking like that. And I don't want no foundational Black American freeman in my chat room to ever adopt that mindset. You a taxpaying citizen over here. Your government is supposed to work for you too. We not, think about it. Sambos and coons like Anthony Brian Logan, yeah, I'm saying your name, that's who he is. They think that we supposed to be this little sheltered off enclave where everybody else gets the government to work for them, but except for us. Oh no, that's supposed to be taboo for us. I'll be damned. You done lost your fucking mind, man. You done lost his mind. Let's let it continue.
work, go out there and get these jobs that are available, work with your hands, do skilled trades. That's where a lot of us talk about, skilled trades. So working class, that's really a Black conservative thing, in my humble opinion.
Let me deal with that, what he just said too. Everybody isn't going to be a blue collar worker. You have a need across the board for different types of jobs in this country. White collar, blue collar, skilled tradesmen. Some people are going to be business owners. Okay. Everybody don't have to be. Look, see, the way these soundbows talk, they think that we supposed to be relegated at the bottom doing all the menial hard labor work. No. It is not going to be that way. If a person wants to go to school to get one of those types of jobs that's in the STEM field, and more power to them. We have a need for that. There's a need. Every job in this nation is important. Let's be clear about that. Whether you white collar, blue collar, business owner, all of it is important because it keeps the nation running. We're not going to be the only people that's relegated to the bottom, though. No, that's not going to happen. So see, this talk that he's talking right here, he's trying to disguise it if he means well, but that's really what he's trying to say. Because he's doing well for himself, he don't think that that's supposed to be for nobody else. See, that don't fool me with all that coon talk, man. No. See, you have to keep even things like the phrase do for self in proper context. Yes, we should do for ourselves. Of course we should. There's nothing wrong with being self-reliant and self-sufficient. But there's nobody in my chat room that owns the equipment to fix a road if it's damaged. There's nobody in my chat room that owns the equipment to fix a bridge if it's damaged. There's things that your government is supposed to take care of that the average citizen does not. That's the whole fucking reason we pay these damn taxes. You understand? Well, see, that's where I keep it when it comes to things like this. Let's let it continue.
I would beg to disagree. I think that would be true if Black conservatism also created pathways for people to get those jobs and also to be able to challenge the corporations that are using their labor, that are stealing from them and not impeding them from having a union. So for instance, like in the South, right? I just left North Carolina where I met with the USSW, the Union of Southern Service Workers. This is an unofficial union of individuals who work at places like Waffle House, at Food Lion, etc. And their unofficial union is unofficial because the conservatives in that state will not allow for them to be officialized.
Legitimized.
Legitimized.
There you go. I got you.
It will not allow for them to be legitimized because then they would be able to push back legitimately on the corporations to get fair wages, right? So like someone was telling me in this organization that she was in Baltimore getting $15.25 as a minimum wage. And then when she moved just one state away, she was now only getting $7.25 for minimum wage, but the cost of living was the same for her. So when we talk about, the effort of saying go out and get these jobs and get these trades, et cetera, I think that is valid, but I think that the impediments by leveling up corporations and by pouring into the effort of corporations to keep billionaires, as Black conservatives, you are actually cutting off the ability for those people to excel.
Okay, I understand your point, but a lot of us are more about being self-sufficient. So the South, a friend of mine down there, King Randall, has a school for boys. He's 22 years old. He has a bunch of kids living with him. He's teaching them physical skills they can do. Okay.
Yeah.
And I got to go ahead, since he mentioned King Randall, that's another one of them book dancing conservatives. Props to him for having the school, but anybody that's familiar with him, you see what he do online too to get donations and contributions. Let me tell you something, man. Helping your people is always good. But if you got to sit up here and be a buck dancer sambo to get things done, that's not good at all, especially if you passing that down to children. Let me tell you, man, see, this is why we can't stand the frauds like damn Umar Johnson ass. Yes, I'm saying that. Because definitely we do need these Black schools. We need that. We need it very badly. But that doesn't mean that we be teaching our Black youth and the students that are in these types of schools to be buck dancing sambos. No. I don't even have to go there with a lot of that stuff that he said over the years when he brought up the King Randall guy. So again, kudos to him for having the school, but what's up with all the damn cooning? That's the issue that I have right there, family, okay? So now, when it comes to everything else Anthony Brown Logan was talking about here, all right? Again, as a Black person in America that's at the bottom, that doesn't have an equal share of the resources, what do you think you're conserving? No, look, I want y'all to ask most of them Black conservatives that, what do you think you conserving? And I want you to just wait for them to give you an answer. And then whatever answer they give you, say, okay, whatever they say they're conserving, ask them, do they have an equal share to conserve like white folks? Let's let it continue.
Being a mechanic, working on your car, working on your house, building things with your hands. So you don't got to worry about corporations You could be your own man. You could be your own woman. And also, didn't you also say earlier that you're against unions? But are you for them now?
No, I never said that.
Oh, so you're for unions?
Absolutely.
So when the unions keep black folks out, you're for that as well? Because that's traditionally what they've done, keep black folks out, correct?
Obviously, I am not for that. The reality is that unions have definitely in the beginning kept black folks out. And the reason why they were keeping black folks out is because after the Civil War, when there was Reconstruction, you had all these black people that had been used with free labor and they had skills, right? Whether they were a blacksmith or a carpenter or whatever. However, they could not get jobs because the white people who now had to fend for themselves, they had to go and learn all these trades.
Right.
And so they actively kept black people. What they would do is that when they would, as a union, say, we're going on strike, the black people would be, we'll work, because they won't let us in their union anyway. And then when they would go and actually get those jobs that the people were on strike for, they would hang them. They would lynch them. So yes, these are real things that have taken place. But we keep having these conversations where we acknowledge the past.
Okay, so now I want y'all to check this out, right? All right, so you hear everything that he's saying, right? You hear everything that Anthony Brown Logan was saying about unions and all of that. Okay. So here's the question that I would ask Anthony Brown Logan or any conservative. I would say, okay, since you telling me that you know all these things occurred and all these things took place, this is what I would ask him. What are you guys that's over there in the conservative party, Republicans, what are you guys doing to change that? You don't hear them advocating for any policies. You ever notice that, family? You don't hear them advocating for any policies. You notice that? They never do. All they do is just toe that party line. They just toe the party line, you know what I'm saying, for everything that the white conservatives tell them to go out there and say. That's what they do. They buck dance up and down one end and the other for the white conservative party. They don't never, you don't never hear them talk about no policies. They always tell us what we shouldn't get as far as reparations, anti-black hate crime bill. They always tell us how everything is our fault, but you never hear them talk solutions. You ever notice that? And if you have never thought about that, especially if you're a young black person listening to this broadcast, no matter what your lineage is, I want you to observe that. Don't take it from me. You observe it with your own eyes and ears the next time you hear the conservatives talking like that, these so-called black conservatives. Listen to see if they talk policies and solutions for the actual things that we're dealing with, okay? Because they're no different than the Democrat coons. Let me get on them. The Democrat coons do the same thing. Like the Rolling Martins, they toe the party line and say the talking points that they've been told to say, but they don't ever talk about no solutions. When it's time to get down to like, okay, great, you told me what the problem is. You say you see it. You say you hear us. Now, where are the policies that's going to benefit our people? You understand? See, that's the part you always have to look for to determine if somebody's coming at you with these types of conversations in good faith. If they're not doing that, you see, everything, look, let me just sum it up and make it simple. Everything, every single thing, when they start talking with any of us about this shit, always end up with, okay, great. We've talked about the problem. Now, what is the actual tangible solution? Don't give me that pull yourself up by your bootstraps stuff. We need to talk about what we're going to implement. What are we going to do about it? And if you really care about this, why don't I see you advocating for it? Because, see, they know over there in that conservative party, they can't get no headway talking about doing this for black people. No, they can't. No, they can't. Same thing with the Democrat Party. They'll pick a few hand-picked Negroes to put them in a suit and put them on TV, Roland Martin looking at you, Al Sharpton, all you buffoons that got that money, you know, when Commandment lost that election. They'll pick a few of you, but you can't deliver what they want, which is black votes. You can't. You can't deliver that. That's the whole purpose of them getting you. See, them days are over. You're not going to be able to have no little safe coon nest up under them no more. Their numbers are dwindling. Okay, the orange man is tearing up their system left and right, thinking that he's hurting black people. No, he's not. He's hurting them mostly. Wait till that big, beautiful bill come online next year. Ooh. Boy, y'all, look, a lot of us went through that. Y'all think we just saying that just to be saying it. Man, mark my words, the crying, get your popcorn now. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to enjoy that. Because see, they always, look, they crying now. Oh my God, the government, they fired us and laying us off. How do you black people make it? Hey, motherfucker, don't come to me. We've been trying to figure out how to make it for years and man, turn $1 into 15 cents, huh? They come have the nerve to come asking us how we gonna make it. No, you weren't worrying about that when everything was cool for you and you thought it was cool and when you was up. That's where I'm at with it. Don't ask my people for no compassion that you didn't show. But again, remember that when these conservatives, so-called black conservatives, start talking, ask them what are the tangible solutions to the issues that they bringing up. I don't care what they're talking about. Chicago, which is not even the most violent city in America, by the way. Whatever they bring up, make sure you hit them. Okay, cool. I hear what you're talking about. So now what's the solution to it since you care so much about it? Let it continue.
When it's convenient, and then we only stay in the present when it's convenient. So you can't simultaneously say, well, everybody's fine now and there's no systemic racism at the same time as stating that there are unions that are racist and unions that aren't racist. Ultimately, there is racism in the United States. It is deeply embedded. We have seen it in a myriad of examples, even just yesterday or today. And black conservatives are working against the working class because they are actively placing their vision, their ideology of black excellence in economics solely.
Well, there is racism
and in individual economics. Okay. And I think that's really the big difference of what we're talking about right now. You're talking about every man for themselves. Every man for themselves.
No. I don't say that.
Oh, you didn't say that?
I say that we have to be individual as people, as black people, but still get all of us on the same page. My friends at school, he's not just looking out for himself, he's looking for all these kids as well. So it's like, okay, I bring myself up and then bring everybody else up, rather than relying upon the corporations and white people to lift this up. That's where we come from as black conservatives. So I think there's a difference between relying on and acknowledging that there are impediments of. And I want to acknowledge the reality that we keep seeming to bump up against, which is that everybody has equal ability, and they don't. Everybody doesn't have the same impediments. So, for instance, I grew up with a single parent, not because... Me too.
I grew up with a single parent, not because my father was some deadbeat that didn't have... My father has a MD from Harvard. My father has an MBA from Tufts.
My dad was a firefighter, so working class, conservative.
He just didn't want to be a parent. So when we talk about this whole idea of like, oh, the blacks that are, not doing the thing, it's not about necessarily what class you're in. It's literally just about we live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't want to be a parent. We live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't need to be in cooperation with our community. And as far as I'm concerned, black conservatives do not address the needs of the working class, which are fair access to resources, which are equal access to getting jobs, which are equal pay to the same access as others. And we don't.
Equal to who?
Equal to other states even. Like there's no reality where you can say that the same.
Let me pause Amanda Seals right here. But see, the reason why they don't advocate for the things that she's talking about is because each one of them, if they can weasel their way over there and find a way to be considered a mascot for the conservative party, same thing, no different than the Democrat coons. They're not going to mention that because they're like, okay, as long as they kick me a couple of crumbs off the table, fuck the rest of you niggas. That's the long and the short of it. I don't need to clean it up. I don't need to articulate it a certain way and word it this way. Once they get to the top, they turn their backs on their... No, I'm saying it just the way it need to be said. These bastards are the equivalent of roaches hiding under a refrigerator, waiting for their white master to flick a crumb off the goddamn table so they can scurry out from under there when the lights go off so they can grab the crumb. That's what all of them are. That's what all of them are. Because, see, I dare somebody to prove me wrong on that. Think about it. When the last time you've ever heard a so-called black conservative stand up and say, hey, look, this is what we need for the black community. Hey, look, if we're going to be a part of this party, we need this, and this. Because, like, for example, I'll give Anthony Brian Logan credit. He says, according to him, and he doesn't say every man for himself. He says, okay, let me get myself in a better position and pull other people up. That's really how you're supposed to do it. However, where's the examples of anybody, not just him? Where's the examples of other people that's over there in that party doing that? Think about it, family. I want y'all to call me and tell me right now, if you know some people in the conservative party or if you over here, let me know who's doing that over there. The main black conservative faces, every time you see them, they busy wagging their finger at black folks telling us what we done wrong and what we shouldn't be asking for and what we shouldn't get. Where's this example of pulling people up? Because I know damn well it's not getting all these Sambos and coons up here on this panel. That's what you call pulling people up? Really? Come on, man. This is what I want to know. I want to know, where are the tangible examples where we can see where all of y'all are building together you got something going on that's prosperous and you're not kissing white ass. Where you doing that at? I want to know. Because see, I'll cover it. I will cover it fairly if you find me something that exists like that. You know why it doesn't exist, though? Because they know that their place is as a mascot over there. That's it. Same thing for the Democrat coons. It's no different. I don't favor one party over another. I don't, because they are both two wings on the same white supremacist bird. Let's let it continue.
The amount of white people are working low-wage jobs per capita as black people. A lot of the reason is because there's such a disparate incarceration of black people that it impedes their ability to get higher level education as well as higher level employment, because we know about disenfranchisement.
All right, there you go.
So there you have it, family. That's part 2 of our analysis of this. Like I said, we have a final part of this to get to, and we're going to definitely deal with that. But see, you know, I wanted to wait until everybody had their say on it because, again, I'm not fooled by people like Amanda Seals. Yes, using the foundational Black American grassroots talking points, but you cannot be our representative because at the end of the day, all that talking she did, you're still a Democrat, shill. Mark my words, she's going to prove it. I promise you. Just give it time. It's coming. This woman isn't going to be out here advocating for anything for us. See, look, I'm going to tell you how you know I'm right about this. Watch this, right? Great. She had this so-called face-off against these damn Sambos. Cool. Amanda, let me see you starting to push some of your former Democrat buddies to do things for black folks. This would be the perfect time to do it. Think about it. Before I close here, think about it. What better time would it be for her or any of these Sambos that's coming out here using our talking points to put pressure on the Democrats to do things for black folks since the orange man is up there doing things left and right that they say they agree with? Think about it. Where are the people, the Democrat lawmakers, that's actually pushing back tangibly in the interest of black people when we're harmed right now? Come on now. Where they at? You can't find them. They're nowhere to be found. Definitely starting with that disgraceful, incompetent, so-called Congressional Black Caucus. Man, they need to take the black out their name because they damn sure don't represent nothing for black people. But I digress, family. So I made my point with this here tonight. Like I said, thank you to everybody that contributed to the broadcast. We got a lot more things we're going to address. Again, yes, I'm definitely going to address that J. Rello situation. I'm putting together certain things on that, but we're going to get the third part of this out the way before I tackle that, because I'm going to really hurt some feelings with that. I got to get on that dust bucket, man, because that shit that he did over there in Kenya, that wasn't a good look. And shout out to the brother Philip Scott for breaking that story. That's why I first saw it. But I found some more things that I'm going to get on regarding that damn J. Rello bastard. Because see, one thing that I don't like is when our people travel abroad, you give a bad representation of us around people that aren't ordinarily around foundational Black Americans. For the most part, we go to somebody's country, we're very respectful. And, you know, we just want to be a part of the culture and, you know, get our little sightseeing done, you know what I'm saying? Build some great memories and then come back home in peace. All of us don't represent what J. Rello did, so I'm going to definitely get on him. Just be looking out for that broadcast. That's it, family. Salute to all of you that are new subscribers over here. We are closing in 13,000 subscriber mark. Like I said, you over here in the right place. If you want to deal with these types of subjects without the sugarcoating, you're in the right place, okay? So with that said, I want you to enjoy the rest of your weekend. Remember, we're a great and mighty people. Salute to you, Black first, and I will see you all in future content.